You know, you have to ask, just how bad is the fight between former President Trump and Mitch McConnell and Governor DeSantis of Florida? I don't know. It seems to me like the left is just looking for something to distract us. Over there's a red herring and it's flying. Also, will the upcoming march in Washington, D.C., Roe versus Wade, that demonic date in American history, will this be the last march? Will Roe be overturned? I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance.
You know that Biden is in trouble when the left-wing media is focusing on a feud between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. Now, let's be real. Donald Trump is a fighter. And if he thinks somebody has dissed him or has betrayed him, he is going to go to the mat against that person. If he thinks that you're his friend, he'll go to the mat for you. Bottom line is he's a fighter. He's going to the mat or he's going to take someone down at the mat. But, you know, now we've got Lindsey Graham picking former President Trump's side. Will DeSantis run for president? I think he'd be insane to do so. I really do. I love Governor DeSantis, but you cannot have the most fiery base inside of the Republican Party to exist since the days of Ronald Reagan. You cannot have that base inside of the party be angry at you. DeSantis' best move would be to win the governorship again. He's coming up for re-election. Be President Trump's VP pick. Travel the country touring and speaking for Trump. If his wife's health is up to it and their kids are up to it, have Mrs. DeSantis come along from time to time. She's very articulate, very attractive, great campaigner. Work with Trump. If Trump wins, he's the VP. He's next in line for the presidency. If Trump loses, he's next in line for the presidency because Trump will be too old to run again in 2028. And DeSantis' numbers will be through the roof because of how successful Florida is doing economically and how great their numbers are dealing with COVID. So my thought is that, you know, there's a passage in the scripture that says that God hates those who sow discord among brethren. And think about discord. Think about how it happens with rumors and with insinuations and half-truths. And, well, did you know that so-and-so said this about you? Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe it was taken out of context. And suddenly, people sowing discord cause conflict between friends and allies. If I was a Biden operative, whether in the political realm or in the media, because most left-wing media are they're Biden operatives. They're armchair Biden operatives, or once in a while they get to be on the inside with the questions they ask and the interviews that they do. If I'm a Biden operative, or I'm just a Biden sympathizer and I'm in the media, I'm looking at President Biden and thinking, oh no. In 2020, when it was all about the Green New Deal and building back better and restoring America's respect around the world. And Biden was going to bring decency to the White House and he was going to stop all the division. All of that turned out to be a heap of ashes, a dung heap. Pick your illustration. It's just not true. Biden's numbers are in the tank. Biden right now is at 38% approval rating, which I think is high. Trump at the exact same time 4 years ago, you know, the orange man, the horrible man that no one likes, he was at 45%. Okay? Biden is in real trouble. He's in trouble intellectually. He's in trouble verbally. His speech patterns are getting progressively worse. And perhaps more importantly, he's in trouble politically. And if he's in trouble politically, then the Democrats in the House and the Democrats in the Senate are really in trouble politically, because he's the one that's going to drag them into the political wilderness, into exile, into political unemployment. Don't worry, there's a golden net that will catch all of them. They can become lobbyists and quadruple their salaries. But I digress. So if I'm a left-wing liberal media person, or I'm a Biden operative, I'm going to sow all the discord I can between Trump and McConnell and DeSantis and Lindsey Graham. I'm going to create a fight, even if a fight doesn't exist. I'm going to help stir one up, because we need the Republicans to be splintered or arguing with one another when 2022, and more importantly obviously for the presidency, 2024, we have got to cause problems inside the GOP camp. That's the mission. Go. Throw frag bombs. Remember in Vietnam when they used to roll a hand grenade into officers' tents to kill the officers? Servicemen did this. It was horrifying. It was evil. That's what some people in the left-wing media are doing in a political manner. They're rolling frags in so that a fight will ensue between the people in the tent. Is there a real brawl going on between McConnell and Trump? Probably not. Maybe a little spitting match. Is DeSantis going to run for president? Who knows? I hope not. He needs to just say out loud, if President Trump decides to run, then I will be supportive of him. That's the easy way out. That's the easy way out for him. Unless he wants to leverage a run for the VP. If he's holding his tongue right now because he wants to leverage a VP meeting with Trump, then that would make sense. But remember, Biden is in so much trouble that the Democrat media, the left-wing media, the Democrat operatives, they have to make you believe that there's a fight inside of the GOP and that Trump is promoting lies, saying that there were voter irregularities. Lord, have mercy on us. God, save us from our enemies, and God, protect us from our fearful friends. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome to the broadcast, friend. Last week I talked about the need for the upper echelon of the media who are pretending that the emperor has beautiful clothes. Their need for themselves to say, is the emperor naked? That boy over there is laughing and saying the emperor is naked. Should we laugh now? I know that he's naked, but was the time right for us to say he's naked? You're beginning to see, just barely. All right, I'm watching the news, reading the Washington Post, the New York Times. You're barely beginning to see a steady drip of criticism against President Biden. And it's not based upon his agenda. They're not saying that his agenda is a colossal failure. They're saying that his inability to deliver his promised agenda is a colossal failure. Those are very different. And this means, of course, that they're still operating under the assumption that the bulk of Americans, who are still primarily decent people, we just are, all right? We're still, we're what's left of the remnants of a Christian nation. We don't want men swimming in a girls' college league and pretending to be a woman. We just don't, okay? We don't want the president of the United States saying he supports children with single digits in their age having their genitals mutilated in an operation. No, that's not who we are. It's who Biden is. It's not who we are. We don't want to be begging at OPEC's feet for oil. We don't want to see pictures of our vice president, Biden, who's now president, marrying two men. We just, no. So Biden's agenda, we don't want to destroy fossil fuels, okay? So-called fossil fuels. They're not fossil fuels. What a joke. the bulk of Americans don't support Biden's agenda. What we did have was a significant number of Americans who were tired of President Trump's late night tweets and the public brawls. The further we get away from the Trump presidency, the more Americans are saying, you know, maybe those tweets weren't that bad. Maybe his hair really wasn't that uncouth. Because the presidency is about policy. Please remember that. Please, I beg you. I have these discussions with people all the time. Biden said that he was going to bring normalcy. Biden said he was going to take away the bitterness and the rancor. He has done neither. By comparing people who want to protect voter integrity to Bull Connor and to Jefferson Davis, that's, saying that we're enemies of the Constitution. Literally, that's what he said in his speech in Atlanta, that we're enemies of the Constitution. This man is off his rocker. So he hasn't delivered on normalcy. He hasn't delivered on not being divisive. And that has some people saying, you know what? I voted for the guy, not because I liked his policies, but because I didn't like President Trump's personality. There are people who want to turn the presidency into a debate about personality. It's not. It's about policy. Period. Think about it. Presidential policy, not presidential personality. Do I like Joe Biden's personality? Honestly, sometimes I do, but mostly no. He irritates me. I think he's creepy. Now, I live in the South, and I have kind of a dual personality. Forgive me for making this about me for just a minute. I grew up in upstate New York. I speak with the speed of a New Yorker. There are times I like the combative honesty of the New Yorker, but the longer I've lived in the South, the more I enjoy the culture of the South. It's slower. It's a little more genteel. It's not quite as honest. The New York culture is honest and sometimes brutally honest, which I've grown tired of that. In the South, way more genteel, not quite as honest. Everybody likes everybody. Why don't you stop by sometime? And then when you stop by, they're like, what are you doing at my house? Well, you told me to stop by. Well, I didn't mean that. It's just something we say down here. I'm joking, but you get my point. So when you watch the Biden presidency unravel and you see the Washington Post and CNN beginning to take shots at him, you know two things. They're trying to save their own reputation. Oh yeah, we told you he wasn't quite there and that his agenda was failing. We told you he was naked. Remember that one story we did on January 7th? It was on page 6, but we did it. They're trying to save their own reputation. And also, they recognize that they have to separate Biden from members of the House or members of the Senate because Biden is going to drag them all into defeat. Who do they have to replace him? That was a discussion at our dinner table at length the other night. If Biden is not going to run for the re-election, who's going to run in the primary? Kamala Harris, Kamala, whatever her name is. Who's going to do it? You want to know who the force would be to be reckoned with? Think about it. Before I say the name, think about it. Who would be a terrifying force who actually could win? Michelle, my belle, Obama. That's terrifying. She could raise money. Her husband, the former president, could campaign for her. Tulsi Gabbard would be great. Let me take a break. I'll explain why Tulsi Gabbard is doing what she's doing. Very interesting if you watch her lately. She was on Sean Hannity the other night. Was actually like a moderate Democrat voice of reason. I thought to myself, who is she? And what have they done with Tulsi Gabbard's body? I'll be right back. The media is spending a lot of time these days talking about how Vice President Harris is trying to rebuild her image. She's hired this political elite PR person. She's fired a bunch of staff. Bunch of staff have quit and said that she is not pleasant to work for, that she's mean. President Biden has given her assignments for which she's done nothing. She's in trouble. Now, the media is trying to say, hey, she's a good person. The Los Angeles Times did a story about her laugh, how that cackle, how that even her cackling laugh isn't really cackling, it's nice. And people who say that it's cackling show how far down in the depths we've gone, political mud wrestling. No, she really does have a cackle. She really is annoying. But the media recognizes that as the vice president, she has first dibs on winning the primaries leading up to the presidency. Okay? So she is trying to rebuild her reputation. Meanwhile, you've got who? You've got Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama could raise so much money if she ran for president. Oprah Winfrey would campaign for her. President Obama, former President Obama, would be on the stump for her. And what we have to understand that the sitting president is by definition the leader of his party. Remember that. The party apparatus is going to be loyal to a sitting president. Period. That's just the way it is. They're not going to have people at the local Democrat Party headquarters carrying flyers or petitions for someone who's running against a sitting president. So if Biden were to run, he's the nominee, the end. There is nobody who's going to run from the outside and who's going to get the nomination. Not going to happen. Now, somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, who is a former congressman, U.S. House member from Hawaii, she could run. She's not going to have local Democrat Party headquarters carry petitions for her and get her on ballots. She'd have to build her own infrastructure. Would Mike Bloomberg run? He's got the money. It's unlikely. He's a businessman. It would cost him a lot of personal money to run. He's got the money if he wanted to do it. He's not a good candidate. He doesn't energize people. He doesn't give a good speech. And he doesn't have the history in politics. He would have to run as a critic of Biden and a centrist. Okay? He would have to run as a critic of Biden and a centrist. So Tulsi Gabbard is on Hannity the other night, and Hannity's asking her all these questions, most of which she sided with Hannity, or at least seemed like she did. So here's what we have going on. The Democrat forces and the old guard, whether it be the Obama old guard or the Clinton old guard, when they saw that crazy Bernie Sanders stood a chance of winning the nomination, they did everything they could to handicap him, to break his kneecaps politically, and to ensure that Biden won. Okay? They did not want Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez being the face of the Democrat Party. They did not want the Green New Deal and transgender baloney being the agenda of the Democrat Party. But Biden bowed to it. So now you have centrist Democrats, if there is such a thing, there are. You have people who are culturally Democrats because their daddy and their granddaddy were Democrats, their mama and their grandmama were Democrats, but they're really getting fed up with the crazy. They're getting fed up with the craziness. So they are saying, the centrists are saying, Biden is a hostage to the lunatic left. What are we going to do? Who are we going to put up? I don't think that most people who watch politics the way you and I probably do, I don't think most people are saying Biden's got the strength of body and the intelligence of mind to be the president for the next 6 years. So that means, is he going to retire? Are they going to invoke the 25th Amendment against him and say, sorry, sir, you're just not capable. Enjoy your retirement. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I promise you, the Democrat Party is in panic mode. And the fact that the Democrat media is starting to criticize Biden is a tell. And the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is on the circuit doing right-wing TV and radio shows the kind of trouble that they are in. She is looking for the long haul. She wants to be president. She does. She wants to be president. She's young. She's articulate. She's attractive. She's a woman. And she doesn't come off like a lunatic. She might be a lunatic. She might support everything that AOC is saying. But she doesn't come off that way. So when you have her hitting Biden from the center, criticizing him, you know that they're in trouble and you know there's a shake coming. Will it be Michelle Obama who runs? Oh my goodness, that would terrify me, because head-to-head, Michelle Obama against Donald Trump, that'd be tough. I'll be right back. January 22nd is coming upon us, the godless anniversary, the demonic anniversary of Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court decision that unleashed the murder of over 60 million human beings. God have mercy on us. God forgive us. I'm going to Washington, D.C., going to our nation's capital, and I ask you to pray for me. Because I'm the founder of Operation Rescue, because I've been a pro-life leader since the mid-'80s, oftentimes when I go, I get interviewed. For example, you see these pictures here. This is on the day that the Supreme Court heard Jackson versus Dobbs. And that's me being interviewed by the local Fox affiliate in Washington, D.C., by the national, by CBS National. I was seen all over the country. That's me with Star Parker, who has a nationally syndicated TV show. It's part of why I go is to be a deliberate, intense spokesman for the babies, talking about innocent blood being shed, talking about the judgment of God coming upon us, not flinching. I talk to the secular press the way I talk to you. I'm asking if you want to support us to please go to my website as soon as this show is over. I'm taking one of my sons with me, and we've got expenses. It's not cheap to go to Washington, D.C. If you believe in this message, if you believe in what we're doing, I'm asking you, go to randallterry.com or call the phone number that you see on the screen and just say, I want to give a contribution. Please, randallterry.com, whether it's $10, $50, $100, it's not cheap to go to Washington, D.C. We need your help. I ask you for your help, and I ask you for your prayers. Obviously, we want the Supreme Court to overturn Roe. That's the most important prayer. I also ask you to pray for our protection and that we would have an impact for the babies. God bless you.